the room in a certain manner. So I apologize for that. If anybody wants a copy of the slides or anything like that, we can always get them to you. So, hello everyone. I'm Scott Maddasion, Mayor of Clinton, and today I'd like to tell you about what's happening in our great city in 2021. Before I begin, I would like to give a special thank you to all the city employees, all those who volunteer for our boards and commissions, and a special thank you to the City Council for their service to our great city. Next, we want to thank, yes. And I should point out, too, the council members, especially Bill and Sean back there, who've been working hard with the food and everything, so I really appreciate their help. I'd like to thank all of our partners in the city. The relationships and communications is a critical fabric that will make our city achieve anything we set out for. Our federal senators, Grassley and Ernst, and Representative Miller-Meeks, and we've got their representatives here today with us. Thank you. Senator Knoyer, Senator Knoyer and Representative Wolf were not able to make it today, but we thank their partnership. Clinton Community College, Mercy One, the County Board of Supervisors, there's a couple of them here today. Clinton School District and Mr. DeLacy, the county staff, our neighbor cities, Comanche, DeWitt, Lowmore, and Fulton. Developers, there's some of those in the crowd here today, and folks that are working with us on projects throughout the city. Our local business owners, new businesses that have selected Clinton for their home, our nonprofits and volunteer groups, and of course, our elected city council officials, Bill Shemmers, Cody Seeley, Ron Mussman, Rhonda Kearns, Greg Obrin, Corey Robinson, Sean Connell, our current sitting council members. And then Nancy Witt and Eartha Davis, who will be joining us at the table on January. Thank you very much for running for council. It truly all starts and finishes with communications. To that end, as folks are always asking about transparency, the city went 100% online with council meetings and full transparency on all council meetings, board and commission meetings to include minutes, agendas, and live stream to YouTube for council meetings, saving thousands of dollars by not printing packets. Our very own city clerk was honored with an award recognizing the great work she did to bring this technology to us. Many of you here in attendance are longtime residents. Some of you may have been in Clinton for a short time. Some may be a developer, a contractor, a local business owner, or someone who just wants to learn more about our town. I'm so excited that you're here to share this lunch with me today, and I can't wait to tell you about the community of Clinton over 2021. Clinton sits, as most of you know, on the eastern edge of the great state of Iowa, right next to the mighty Mississippi River behind us, with a population of 24,469. The city of Clinton was incorporated in 1857, which means we are 164 years old. We do have a local airport. We got rail lines, the mighty Mississippi with barge and recreational boat traffic. We like to tell developers that we're just a short drive from Chicago. Our residents enjoy a high quality of life with great schools and beautiful parks. And visitors love exploring our city's many attractions like Eagle Point Park, the Showboat Theater, the Riverview Baseball Stadium, the Curtis Mansion, Historical Society, the Sawmill Museum, the Bickelhoff Arboretum, and I could go on and on and on about all the great things that we have in our community. I will start with one of our main goals as a council and the staff is to maintain a strong financial position. I'm happy to announce that our city currently maintains a strong financial position in the general fund and all proprietary funds. The council and staff's fiscal responsibility has shown strong, and as a result, we have a great credit score, and the Government Finance Officers Association has recognized our community for responsible budgeting. And according to the 2020 census, the largest 30 cities in Iowa, of which Clinton was 16, we're now 20, increased their population by 187,770 people. So as the 20th largest city, we rank 158th in the state in city property tax levy. We do rank number 2 in the entire state with available ag land at 16.3 million acres behind Davenport and double of any other city in Iowa. So definitely room to grow. For me, one of the most amazing parts of living in Clinton is watching how our community adapts and transforms over time, while maintaining these characteristics that make us unique. With all the families and businesses currently located and those moving to Clinton, developers have invested in permits alone valued at nearly $115 million over the last 11 months. And in terms of economic development, last year was one for the record books, both in permits and new homes built. For economic growth perspective, for 2020, 2021, and 2022, we have a combined $1,017,835,000 in capital improvements, either ongoing or planned, for commercial, manufacturing, and industrial, with $54 million for housing, single family and apartments, and another $17.5 million for the Lafayette building that's on hold, or I guess it's pending for a project down there. So let's take a look back at some of our achievements in 2021. As we all know, 2021 was a very challenging year. Maybe less challenging than 2020, but still a challenge. And one of our city's biggest accomplishments was navigating COVID-19. I'm pleased to tell you that the city of Clinton responded to the pandemic without any layoffs or disruption to any public services. While our facilities took on a new look with some new protective barriers, our teams adapted to ensure folks could still get their permits, pay their sewer bills, work out, have books and games checked out from the public library, and many programs were offered virtually instead of in person. In addition to navigating a uniquely challenging year, our community had a number of other successes that starts and ends with strong partners. I'm so proud of all the things happening in Clinton. Now we want to highlight some of those great things that are happening. In the past 12 to 18 months, the City of Clinton has entered into 13 development and incentive agreements with companies across the United States and international companies. They've provided plans, we worked with them to garner incentives, we received concurrence from the council, and they have been receiving permits and building new or renovating current structures. Working with all these companies has given us an opportunity to create new relationships and strengthen our current relationships with our local business partners. 2021 kicked off with Mercy One, the completion of their new linear acceleration for radiation therapy. The $6 million project, over $2 million was raised by the community, businesses, and individuals. 20,000 people visit the ER annually at Mercy One here in Clinton. They're currently under a renovation there, and this 18-month project will add 2,200 square feet and remodel the almost 9,000 square feet they currently have. It'll add 6 new treatment rooms and eliminate all the double rooms in the ER. The city welcomes Spiber America, who's working with ADM Polymer on a joint project that will see a pretreatment plant built and waste sent to the city of Clinton. What's unique about Spiber America is they're a Japanese company, and the only place they operate in the United States will be here in Clinton, which is extremely exciting. The city is witnessing firsthand 2 expansions by Nestle Purina, one for cat food production, and secondly, an automated storage and retrieval system. Timken Drives established a presence in Clinton with over 70 new employees. Big River Packaging, a local business, has begun 37,000 square foot expansion and is adding 10 jobs. Passed at the bond referendum, the complete renovation of the Clinton High School. They're currently working on the 3-story academic portion of that, and I believe they'll be in there by December of 2022 is the plan. Clinton Community College, one of our valued partners, currently building the CTE Center to house students from all the districts to learn more about the job paths and the career and technical education side of things. Coming up on December 17th, hopefully, possibly into January, the Iowa Economic Development Authority will be announcing that Project MG at the rail park will be building a manufacturing plant while investing $610 million in capital and hiring 40 to 50 personnel. And speaking of the rail park, the hidden gem is the industrial rail park. It will be 100% plug and play with full electric, gas, sewer, water, fiber optics, so we are excited to fill all of the other areas with new or existing businesses. Just a little hint too, the city's currently working on another sale of 38 acres on the south side of the park with another developer, but more to come on that later. So let's move into housing. We've got 4 major projects that are going on the housing front. Valley Bluff Apartments at the entrance of our community on the west side They began construction and have filled the suites as soon as they're done. So they've continued on, and they're planning for 231 total apartments. Riverstone Crossing has completed all public infrastructure and has 2 foundations begun. And I think if you drive by there, you actually can see some structures built already at Riverstone Crossing as well, which is exciting. Zara Heights is working on completing the public infrastructure, and they'll be beginning to build homes in spring of 2022. The Wilson Building, 33 luxurious apartments, a $13.5 million investment. There'll be, obviously, the apartments, commercial space for entrepreneurs, both retail and restaurant, and will be a game changer for our downtown. Excited to see them getting that project rolling. Cottage Bluff, the development agreement was completed in 2021. The demo of current buildings and construction will begin in spring of 2022 at the Mount Pleasant Park. That'll be 13 triplexes, so a total of 39 units, similar to the Washington Middle School model that Chris Ailes has already worked on. With all this, we have existing growing subdivisions at Mill Creek Crossing and Jordan Heights that you can continue to see houses built there as well. 2021 was a challenging year, but it was a challenge our community and the city organization faced head-on together. As a result, we are primed and ready for the future. So we'll go through some of the future things that we've done and some of the projects that we've accomplished. We always like to start at the riverfront. Even more things to do with the river view. The new Freedom Rock as you drive by. The pickleball lights. The parking area for pickleball. The permeable paver parking lots at the swimming pool and the Riverview Stadium. The new swings and seating areas. The flower planters. The full upgrade to the World War I canal statue. And oh yeah, this past summer, we hosted RAGBRAI for the 6th time. It was a huge success, and we are grateful for Leslie Webster and the CVB, along with all the other volunteers that made this day so great. Quick picture here for the folks that can see it. The Great River Rumble came through Clinton this past summer. And one of our oldest pastimes, baseball, was back in the form of the Prospect League, where the Lumber Kings led the league in attendance past season. And something important to note here is Clinton is the smallest market in the Prospect League, and we led the attendance our first year in the league, which is outstanding. So you can tell that the Clinton community really supports baseball. Here's a great picture, July 4th on the riverfront with the stadium lights going. Sorry, Matt. The Canadian Pacific Depot Exchange. We worked with our partner, Canadian Pacific. They built a new depot down in South Clinton, so their engines and their call lights and stuff will be now down in South Clinton instead of right in front of Happy Joe's there, which is a catalyst to our Quiet Zone project that continues to be worked on. The Regional Wastewater Reclamation Facility consolidation and reorganization took place with a new admin and lab building and a new maintenance building. Parks and Rec, Emma Young Pond, completely dredged. Continue to be working on that. It's going to be refilled, restocked for fish, so people can go out there and fish with a new pier, and it's going to be an outstanding attraction for the Erickson Center. In addition, at our Parks and Rec, 2,549 youth sports participants throughout 2021. That's 56 youth sport tournaments, 114 adult sports teams, 20 adult sports tournaments, and we added 24-hour access to the fitness center. The farmers market will be coming to the Lions Business District that'll cover over Roosevelt Drive. It can be used for the farmers market or other activities. Upgrades to the trail lighting system and the showboat sprinkler system as well. As we're staying down in the river area, marina enhancements. We look forward to some major upgrades with more covered slips, connection to the gas pump, and then adding the workers' hut down near the gas pump. So here is kind of a bird's eye view of what the hut will look like as it's built down there. As we move to the next slide, we'll see the view of the building that the marina workers will be in. Engineering. A lot of people are big on roads, and we are here at the city. $3.3 million on pavement management program, with our 2 biggest projects being the 13th Avenue North Road project and the Harts Mill Rise Road project that we did in conjunction with the state to help with the increased truck traffic from Nestle Marina. The city of Clinton is responsible for the maintenance of 145 miles of streets. Of these streets, 14 are aggregate roadways maintained by the county under the authority of a 28E agreement. The rest of these streets are a broad range of 126 miles of concrete, asphalt, chip seal, and 5 miles of aggregate roadways, some of which have never been improved. This leaves approximately 126 miles of streets for the city to maintain as part of the pavement management program. Over the past several years, the City of Clinton Engineering Department has been using the DTIMS asset management software to track citywide pavement condition index, or PCI. This information has been used to prioritize the street rehabilitation schedule and budget for street construction from 2013 to 2022. The plan includes budgetary cost estimates based on expected quantities, known ADA accessibility issues, and contingency factors. Below is a chart, I guess next to me, is a chart of actual changes in the citywide pavement condition index from 2007 to 2017. Our expectation is that the 2021 data will prove that the city PCI is approaching 65, which is what the stated goal is in our strategic plan. Moving to the police department. The Clinton Police Department made up 1,089 arrests in 2021. That's a 39% decrease from the 10-year average from 2011 to 2020. The number of incidents was down 26% at 3,020 compared to the 6-year average of 4,108. While call for service was down 14% at 29,741 compared to a 6-year average of 34,955. We have 2 K-9 units now, Roman with Officer Rowling and Grizz with Officer Patterson, which allows us now to have one assigned to days and one assigned to nights on a monthly rotating basis. And we've had some good wins with our dogs as far as tracking down perps. Change from issuing citations to placing people in jail for trespassing and shoplifting. We developed a crisis intervention team, including mental health professionals who regularly ride with officers and go to calls where people are in mental crisis. We worked with communications and Clinton Fire to have calls automatically transferred to helplines for persons in mental crisis, saving valuable resources. And we've partnered with the YWCA in an effort to combat homelessness. Officers go out with the Y staff and contact homeless folks to get them services. The fire department. These are January 1 through October 8th data. Structure fires were 52. Total fire loss to date, $514,125. And our EMS calls were 2,839. So definitely busy in our fire department as well. We increased 1 additional ambulance to the fleet to ensure coverage of EMS call volume. We instituted CPAT into the hiring training practices. We did some renovations at Lyons, Central, and Chansey, and then we've connected all 3 stations through online teams to assist in training and coordination of all of our firefighters. Moving back down to the river, we reopened the North Gate at Joyce's Slough, and we began working closely with the Corps of Engineers. The next step is a hydrology study to understand the flow of the slough and why currently we're having some siltation problems. Since the number of folks that remember the flood of 1965 aren't as many as there has been in the past, we want to make sure that we don't go back to those days, and we're maintaining our levee and we're maintaining our slough area. Here is the design of the new public safety boathouse. It will sit on the water down just south of the Candlelight. It will house both of our public safety boats. In our area, our public safety boat is is the biggest one up and down the Mississippi in our pool. It's a FEMA paid-for boat, and this boat will be housed in there along with our other public safety boat to keep our folks safe. As you can see, you'll still be able to get in and out of the Marina, and the American Queen, the Duchess, and the Countess will still be able to dock as well, because we love having those folks up here, and they definitely enjoy our riverfront. We want to make sure that amenity stays. Public Works. These guys are extremely busy, and they've taken on a lot of extra stuff as we've been tasking them and their director, Brian Lemke. The Freedom Rock, they did a lot of work on that. If you go around town in our parks, you'll see the refillable water fountain stations. Thank you to Lyondell Bassell, who was the first person to donate one of those, and then LK Manufacturing as well. We've replaced 10 currently in our parks and down on Riverfront, and we're going to continue to replace those with the refillable water stations as we move forward. We've got the new swings. and the new Welcome to Clinton areas to take that were created by Tracy Fromm for RAGBRAI. Those have stayed there, and I've seen people using those. We relocated the St. Johannes Danish Lutheran Church steeple down to the Clinton Historical Society. Obviously, the new ping pong table down there, and our brilliant pickleball and sand volleyball courts as well. So all along with doing these little odds and ends projects, our public works continued to pick up 13 million pounds of solid waste and 1.5 million pounds of recycling each and every week. They also had time to work on the new public restroom at Clinton Park, which will be open next spring. I want to thank the Hope and Action team from St. Paul's Lutheran Church that ignited the drive. They raised $17,000 for this project as they saw a need for the kids in their community. Speaking of cleaning up Clinton, the city staff and the team have continued to take back our city one nuisance and a vacant building at a time. With Iowa's very first gut rehab program, leveraging federal funding through the state called a revolving loan fund, we have 7 homes in the program, with the first one sold and the second one pending sale, with 5 others in different states of repair, from being recently placed on the market to just starting the gut down to the studs prior to the full renovation. To date, 91 residential properties have been torn down since 2017, with 15 planned for next year. But citizens have also stepped up, taking down 98 garages and 69 residential properties in the last few years. Again, as mentioned, with permits and spending happening in Clinton, we want to reiterate 2,423 permits with capital investment over $122 million. So we may be getting rid of nuisance and vacant properties, but we are working hard to replace with new housing. Parks and Rec, the All-Star Community Award for Jurgensen Soccer Complex. Thank you to all the citizens that voted along the way for this project. It was great to be at the League of Cities and have this honor bestowed for Clinton. Just again, shows what you having a vision and getting a team together can do to truly accomplish anything that we have in our minds. I talked in my opening about teamwork and communications. City Administrator Matt Brook, City Engineer Jason Kraft, and I, along with our McClear engineering crew, did just that. We went to Washington, D.C. to visit with our senators and representatives at the federal level to tell them all the great things going on in Clinton, much of which I've told you today, and why they should support the RAISE grant application. Well, support they did. And with that fact, Clinton was the only city in the state of Iowa to be awarded a RAISE grant. The RAISE grant is rebuilding America's infrastructure with sustainability and equity. The city was awarded a $15 million RAISE grant from the Federal Department of Transportation for Manufacturing Drive and Bluff Boulevard, with the total project estimated at $38.1 million. We are entering the design phase for the 3 major road projects. These investments will have a positive impact on our community and improve our residents' quality of life. We are definitely looking forward to 2022. First, we're continuing to work on projects I mentioned, including pavement management, creating more quality of life, and continuing to work on our infrastructure. A couple more projects I wanted to highlight on here was, we're also evaluating and developing plans to address our city's need. This is in the form of completing the sports facility complex feasibility study with RWRF Architects. The study included conceptual plans for a new baseball, softball complex with a new sports complex facility and a field house. We're also working with ADM in their sewer project, and it continues to move forward. This project will have ADM send their waste to the city of Clinton. ADM payment over 20 years will cover the cost of borrowing, rate resiliency, and operations and maintenance costs. The net result, once the additional is complete and ADM begins flowing to the RWRF, will begin to look at updating our rate structure and lowering sewer rates for citizens of Clinton. As our community moves forward, we are continuing to modernize local policies, including development codes and rental housing regulations. These changes have laid the foundation for future growth while preserving and protecting our community's character. By planning ahead for these critical investments, we ensure that our community can maintain a high quality of life for our residents and a strong economy for businesses now and into the future. I would like to take this moment once again to thank all of our staff throughout the city council members, all the partners that we work with daily, and of course, all of the citizens of Clinton. We have a strong community, and I promise to continue to work tirelessly to ensure that Clinton is truly a great place to call home. Here in Clinton, we know that our community is special. There's nowhere else quite like it. And we welcome you to join us as we continue building our vision for tomorrow. Remember, in the words of John C. Maxwell, change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Thank you very much. I will open it up if anybody has any questions that they'd like to hit me with. Perfect. All right. If you'd like some more food, grab that. I really appreciate all of you coming today. It's great to see all your faces, and some people drove quite a distance to come, so thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to 2022 and beyond.